We have a special treat for you today. We're in Yukon, Oklahoma, at the home of Mr. and Mrs. Beryle James. And Beryle was one of our 1991 video garden contest winners. And Beryle, welcome to Oklahoma Gardening.
Nice to meet you, Steve.
Well, I tell you what, Beryle is going to give us some more secrets. We're here today to see how his garden's coming along. And the first one we want to talk about is what he does to get his tomatoes started. And Beryle, explain what you do in the early spring there.
I use a rusted can, and I bury that can. First, I plant the tomato as deep as I can get it. Then I put the can over it, and I put this plastic water jug. It fits tightly over the can, and that way I have a permanent, cheap greenhouse. I put hay around it, and that gives me some extra protection, and I can get an early start on my tomatoes, Steve.
Now, another thing you do when on those bright sunny days, what do you do to?
I take that cap off.
And then it lets the steam come out of there.
Yes, and when that tomato grows and pushes that cap off, it's ready to put.
Ready to leave it alone, huh?
Sure is.
So you've still got the cans around your big tomatoes here, and you've got some nice fruit set. You also use that now to your advantage too, don't you?
Yes, Steve, I put no moisture on the vines. I water in the can. I take a hose and I walk down and I fill the gallon cans on the way down and on the way back.
Okay.
That way it sinks down and I have them.
Right, and then you continue to use your mulch throughout the season. Now,
yes.
One thing that Beryle hasn't told us is that he puts a lot of time and investment in putting a lot of good rich compost and things. And when you look around his garden here, what did we decide? About a half an acre.
About a half acre.
He's got all kinds of compost, and he just continually improves the soil through cover crops and different types of things. So that's a key to it, isn't it, Beryle?
The key, in my opinion, is planting. If you plant it properly, it grows good and it fertilizes itself.
Okay, and it takes a lot of good rich soil to do that.
Takes a lot of rich soil.
Well, now this year you are absolutely inundated with beans, aren't you?
Yes, these are contender.
Okay, tell us about those. When did you plant and some of the details? Do you have any idea?
I plant them as early as the weather will permit.
Right.
This year we was real fortunate. We've had 4 pickings and it's still loaded with contender beans. I think really contender is one of the best beans that I've ever had. You can pick them by the handful, Steve.
Any idea how many you've harvested so far?
About, I'm going to say close to 30 gallons.
My goodness.
People that want to can them, I give them the can. And those that just want beans to eat, I give them.
Okay. So that's one of your favorite varieties then?
Yes, that's my favorite variety.
Well, now you've also got potatoes, you have corn, squash, just about everything we'd see in a garden, but it's a huge garden. But one thing that you do interesting on your onions, come over here and show me how you harvest those, Beryle.
Steve, I wait till the onion falls down and dies. Then I pick that onion.
Mm-hmm.
The stem is dead. It's cured properly. Then I put them under a shade tree, and I let them for 3 or 4 days. And then we chop them up and double bag them. We put them in the hydrator like this, and we have onions the whole
year. Now, you were telling me you do something a little differently, too, as far as pulling the soil around.
Yes, the moment that it starts to ball, I start working the soil from around the onion, and you can see it's real firm.
Okay.
And that way the onion balls properly, and it does a real good job.
Now, do you break the tops over, or you just
No.
let them fall over naturally?
No, I just let them fall over naturally.
So they're kind of curing out here in the
Yes.
garden as they go along, too. Now, one thing that has really interested me in visiting with you, you properly cure your onions. You were telling me how you do your potatoes, but tell me the story about your tomatoes even in the fall, what you do.
I use the little boxes that the 6-pack of Cokes come in, 4 of them, and I place those onions at frost time. I pick them and place them in those cartons.
Mm-hmm. Now that's your tomatoes, right?
Tomatoes.
Green tomatoes?
Yes, green. Just the night before it's going to frost, I hurriedly, like mad, I pick those things and put them in this box. And then we put them under the divans and anywhere it's dark, and we'll have tomatoes way on up after the first of the year. They will gradually ripen. They won't taste quite as nice as the vine,
but still homegrown tomatoes, isn't it?
Sure are, Steve.
Well, now, basically, you grow more than you ever use, don't you?
I give 90% of it away. I enjoy giving it away, Steve.
My gosh. Well, come over here and let's show them what you, I guess, some goodies you got last year as a result of winning 3rd place in the contest.
Yes, I have this green machine, and this is a wonderful edger that I edge the sidewalk with. And It fits real proper with my tools.
Okay.
And then I just store it up on the twine. That's something that just keeps using. So
Right. So you just added attachments and got more twine as a
Yes.
result of winning the contest. Well,
it was wonderful.
now, Beryle, of course, we have the deadline coming up in a couple of weeks, July 18th, and I guess you'd encourage people to enter, wouldn't you?
Oh, I sure would. It's a wonderful thing, and I believe you'll garden harder, and you'll do it more.
Well, the whole purpose is just like today, you showed us a lot of really neat, interesting things. And Beryle, that's all the time we have today. We want to thank you for inviting us out. Keep up the good work. I'm sure your neighbors are appreciative too. And that's all the time we have today, and we hope you'll join us again next weekend here on Oklahoma Garden.
We hope you've enjoyed this classic from the Oklahoma Gardening Vault. Remember, even though these tips and techniques are timeless, there's always something new to learn in the world of gardening. By subscribing to both Oklahoma Gardening and OK Gardening Classics, you'll have access to a wealth of gardening knowledge, both classic and contemporary.